Welcome, my friends, to another episode of The Wogger's Way. I'm your Uncle Brian, and today I'm going to show you how to change out your existing wall switch for the Lever Edge wall switch by Leviton. The fastest and easiest way to change out a wall switch. Once you use these, you'll never go back to a standard wall switch again.
Now, you've probably already seen these switches, or maybe some videos on them, since they've been on the market for nearly 3 years now. And you've probably heard them referred to as Lever Edge. But Leviton has expanded their line of these lever-style switches to not only the Decora style, which is this kind of square style, but they have now also come out with toggle switches, also in this lever style. Now, since they couldn't call these a Decora Edge switch because, well, they're not Decora style, they rebranded their line and now they're known just as Lever Edge. That way the brand can be used across all their switches and outlets that have this lever style connection. Now, in addition to the switch, which I'm going to be showing you today, I want you to check out my channel for my full series on all the Lever Edge products by Leviton. So, what's the difference between the Lever Edge style switch and, well, the switch that you're probably used to using? We'll call this the regular switch. So the regular switch has some visible side terminals on it, as you can see here, where you attach your hot and switch leg wires and one for your ground wire. You're also going to need some kind of screwdriver to tighten these screw terminals when attaching the wires, along with some wire strippers. The installation on these also requires more time and skill to do it correctly and safely. Now, in contrast, the Lever Edge switch has, there's no side terminals on here, which means no points of contact for you to get electrocuted if accidentally touched. And as far as tools go, all you need is your wire strippers. And installation is also faster than a standard switch, and the skill level needed is very low to do it correctly and safely. Perfect for DIYers. Okay, let's jump into the installations.
First, let's install a standard switch. But before anything else, turn off the breaker to the circuit that you're working on. Remove the wall cover plate. Now use a non-contact voltage tester to ensure the power is in fact off. Yeah, I know you turned off the breaker, but what if you turned off the wrong breaker by mistake, or there's an issue with the breaker? Better safe than sorry. Remove the 2 screws holding the switch into the box. And don't worry about saving the screws. The new switch will have nice shiny new screws for you. Then pull the switch out. Now be careful not to touch the side terminals, just as a precaution in best practices. Now disconnect your wires from the old switch. You can just snip them off close to the old switch. But if the wires appear burned or charred, then cut them back to eliminate that section. On a single pole switch, you'll have 2 black wires and 1 green or bare ground wire. For other countries, your colors may be different. One of the wires is your live incoming power, and the other is the wire that goes to the light or whatever fixture is being controlled by the switch. For the sake of wiring the switch, it does not matter which is which. Although I always like to identify the incoming power line with some red tape, just for my reference. Now this is particularly helpful in multi-game boxes where the incoming power is shared among multiple switches. Now strip off enough insulation to allow you to make a new J-hook. Do this with both wires as well as the ground. Next, slip the loop onto the ground wire over the ground screw on the new switch and secure the screw. Now make sure the loop goes in a clockwise direction. That helps to keep the wire around the screw as you tighten it down. Do the same with both black wires to the 2 screws on the side of the new switch. Once again, it doesn't matter which wire to which screw. Although, I prefer to install the incoming hot to the bottom terminal screw. This is just my little OCD thing, and if I pull a switch out in the future and all the little Wogger's Way idiosyncrasies are present, I'll know this was something me or one of my guys worked on previously. Then I back off each screw a half a turn and retighten it down. Yes, another one of my OCD traits, but it also ensures that I didn't forget to secure one of the screws initially, and it also makes sure that the connection didn't come loose due to slight deformation of the wire, especially for stranded wires. Then I wrap all my switches with tape. Yeah, I know, it's really not needed, but once again, something we do as a standard practice here. And we use green electrical tape as another indication that we were the ones that worked on this previously.
Okay, what's the deal with wrapping with tape? Well, back in the day when your wall boxes, they were primarily metal, wrapping your switches provided protection against accidentally having the screw terminals touch the side of the metal box and sparking. Now, with the plastic and composite boxes being the norm today, this really isn't much of an issue. But today, wrapping your outlets or switches or any item that has screw terminals does protect you from touching the live terminals when grabbing the switch. Or if you're, say, working on the switch and your screwdriver happens to slip in the side and touches those terminals, it prevents you from getting electrocuted. Also, in multi-gang boxes, it helps protect if you have multiple switches from their terminals touching each other. So it's just the best practices that I follow, as well as anyone that works for me.
Now you can install your new switch into the wall box and secure the top and bottom screws. If the switch is janky to one side, make sure you straighten it out first. Also, don't tighten them down too much. As soon as the ears touch the wall or the box, you're done. Attach the wall cover plate, making sure the screws are either both vertical or both horizontal. That shows you take pride in your work and it's professional looking. Now, when the screws are all offset, it just looks a little sloppy.
So the Walker's way is vertical. What are you? Drop a comment letting me know if you are team vertical or team horizontal. Okay, let's see how that compares to installing a lever edge switch.
Now you still have to turn off the breaker, test that the power is off, and remove the old switch. Now here's the difference. Strip the wires according to the gauge on the switch. Flip open the 2 black levers and the 1 green lever. Fully insert the green wire or bare wire and snap the lever closed. Do the same with each black wire, 1 in each port, and snap the levers closed. That snap lets you know that the connection is made. I also give the wires a slight tug just for peace of mind. Also, there should be no bare wire showing as long as you strip the wires according to the strip gauge.
Wiring is now complete. No hooks to make, no screws to tighten and retighten, no wrapping with electrical tape since, well, there are no terminals to touch or come in contact with the metal box or contact with any other switches. Install the switch into the wall box and attach your wall plate. Now, just one little extra item. Now, these lever edge switches, they have a little extra strip along the top and the bottom. This is in the event that the drywall around your wall box is maybe a little chipped away or it wasn't cut very close when installed. These extra tabs could provide that little extra reach that you need. If you don't need them, you just grab a pair of pliers, wiggle them back and forth, and snap them off. If you don't take them off, they may be in the way of attaching a standard wall plate. But if you use the oversized midway plates, like I do, then you don't need to remove these tabs. The midway plates will fit around them. Okay, let's go over some pros and cons between, well, the lever edge switch and your standard switch. First one is ease of use. The lever edge definitely takes a point here. No hooks to make, no screws to tighten or retighten, no taping needed ever. The levers, well, they're color-coded so you know which wires go into which ports. Not so critical on switches, but when you watch my video on the outlets, GFCIs, and 3-way switches, that's where the color coding really comes into play. And one other win in this category is when you have a multiple gang box, and we've all been there. You have 3 or 4 or more switches in one box, and you fight to get them all lined up to get the wall plate on. Well, the lever edge pretty much eliminates the alignment issue. With these little tabs and notches, these fit into each other, creating the perfect space between the switches, so that wall plate fits like a glove. Ingenious! Next is speed of installation. Now, I timed installations on several standard switches and several lever edge switches. Now, since turning off the breaker, removing the wall plate, removing the existing switch from the box, snipping off the wires, stripping the wires, and attaching the new switch into the wall box with the cover plate, it's the same for both, well, that's a wash. So I timed it from attaching the wires to the new switch. For the standard wall switch, this meant making J-hooks, attaching the hooks, and tightening down any screws. On the lever edge, this meant opening up the levers, inserting the wires into the correct ports, and then securing the levers. On the standard switch, I averaged just over 1 minute. To be exact, 1 minute and 1/10 of a second. So we'll just say 1 minute. The lever edge switch averaged 11 seconds. Now, a savings of 49 seconds per switch may not seem like much, but as a service company, time is money, and the less time we take, the less of the client's time we're taking up, and the sooner we're off to our next job. So, for speed of installation, the lever edge takes the W here.
Next is cost. Now, a standard Decora style switch at the time of this video runs about $2.68 each when purchased separately. But when bought in the 10-pack, the price drops down to $1.90 each. In contrast, the Lever Edge by themselves go for about $3.26 each, but it drops down to $2.47 each when purchased in the 10-pack. So the Lever Edge are about 50 cents more. I'll give the standard switch the win here, but I'm not sure if it's much of a win when you factor in the extra time to install them. And as a service company, time is money. And if I'm changing out several in a house, I'm definitely saving more than the 50 cents each just in the time saved. Next category, safety. Now, for a professional who should be following all the best practices, safety should not be an issue. But for the homeowner DIYer, the Lever Edge eliminates a lot of the mistakes DIYers make when changing switches and outlets. Plus, no exposed screws or wires that could zap you, not to mention the peace of mind knowing you did it right. That's priceless. I'm giving the Lever Edge a big win here. Well, I know there's a lot of electricians out there who say that they're never going to use these Lever Edge for the same reason they say they won't use lever connectors, like Vagos. But switches and outlets like this, they've been in use in other countries like across Europe for a long time without any issues, and where they use 230 volts compared to our 110. Now, does new always mean better? Well, of course not. But this design, it isn't new. It's been proven for over 2 decades on systems with a lot more power than we use here. It's just new to us. And if I can use a proven product that saves me time, my clients money, and without sacrificing safety, then I'm all in for it. But let me hear what you think. Drop a comment on your thoughts or experiences on these Lever Edge switches. Just know I've been installing Leviton's Lever Edge products almost exclusively for the last 6 months, and periodically, well, since they debuted back in January of 2023. And so far, I have not had a single callback or an issue on any of the Lever Edge products that I've installed. If I've opened the lever on your mind to this innovative product, I'd appreciate a tap on the thumbs up like button and subscribing to my channel. And once again, this is your Uncle Brian saying thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you in one of my other videos, like those. Bye now.